He wiped out Mount Kadeem. Look out!
Holy cow, does this work? Is this actually working? Is this studio still a thing? Like, I feel like I got evicted and have just found a new home, apparently. I didn't get evicted. We don't need that rumor out there. But we've been off, man, for a hot... Let me start over. Let me be a professional broadcaster, if nothing else, right? I'm your host, your humble host, Richard James Regal. This is the episode 0, the premiere episode of Regalwood Rasslin. See the bulldog up there with his belt? And he's buff like I used to be when I was young. Holding the title. Yeah, the whole thing. He's new graphics. Now, this is the premiere episode of Regalwood Rasslin. Whole new thing, not the gaming stuff. Gaming is still a thing, right? Gaming's coming back. We took off the last 3 months, I think, because of work stuff and family stuff and you name it stuff, right? So we took some time off. Haven't been live in a hot minute. But I am Ricky Regal. I'm your host. Thank God to be back on it. We're feeling it. I do appreciate those of you who are already in and checking me out. This is episode 0, which means, what's that mean? So episode 0 means that this is not a canon show. In other words, this one won't count going forward, okay? This is just like a test run to make sure all my stuff still works, which, by the way, it don't. And I'll get into that in just a minute. But this is just a test run to see if we're up and running, if we can make this thing, look somewhat professional, somewhat decent. So that's what episode 0 means, right? Episode 1, which will begin next week. We're going to have guests. We're going to have reviewing videos. We're going to be talking about all things Rasslin and wrestling, which if you know me, you know there's a big difference. And there is a tangible difference between professional wrestling and Rasslin. And that's why the name of the show is Regalwood Rasslin, because we're going to kind of focus. Look, I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I understand that, and I respect that. If any of you, some of you will remember the old Regal board, and the old Regal board was something else. And those of you who were around for that back in the day will understand exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want to go back to the Regal board because, man, that thing, it was a never toot my own horn. I'm not that guy. However, that was a big deal back in the day. And for those of you who don't know about the Regal board, it was a message board which don't exist anymore, right? And a lot of stuff happened on that board. Some of it good, some of it not so good. Anyway, this won't be that. This is not going to be just I crap on everything, because I'm not that guy. I have been that guy, but I think the stuff that I crap on is well deserved. But having said that, we're all going to talk about some local indie stuff. We're going to talk about some things that are concerning, right? We're going to talk about some things that are some are funny, some are bad, some are horrific, some are sad. But that's what this is going to be about, man. It's going to be about bringing that stuff that maybe you might have missed to your attention. I was supposed to have a guest today. We're going to save that mystery guest because we had some technical issues, because if you've ever watched any of my gaming streams, it would not be a stream were there not some technical difficulties. And of course we had some today with some audio. Had him up and running, had him in the guest room, had him ready to go. He was on fire on all cylinders. And of course we couldn't get our sound to jibe up. So I don't know if it was a problem on my end or his end, but we're going to save him for another time and bring him in. You all know him. I won't give it away, but it's not too. Either you love this guy or you hate this guy. There's no in between. There is no in between. There's nobody who's I can take him or leave it. Ain't none of that. You either hate him or you love him. And he and I have had a tumultuous relationship over the years. And to that end, we're going to bring him in. Hopefully he'll be my first guest if we can get our audio situations up and squared away. And that'll be next. The actual episode 1 will be next week, right? So it'll be Regal. It won't into the gaming, so I'm going to change some of the graphics. I know if you were there for the countdown, it's still the Regalwood gaming graphics are up. I'm going to change all the graphics. We're going to have a whole new thing. This will be separate from anything gaming. So those of you who don't like the gaming stuff, I feel you. I'm with you. We'll do just wrestling on Regalwood Rasslin. It's its own entity. And by the way, speaking of that, if you are on Facebook, I've gotten out of my promotional gimmick. I got to bring that back. We're live right now on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. Regalwood will get you to all those places. REGALWOOD. That'll get you to all the spots that you want to go to and check us out if you're on any of those platforms. But we are also going to be streaming these shows, these particular Regalwood Rasslin shows, to Facebook's exclusively on the Inside Wrestling Radio page, which is an old page that I put up way back. I think that thing goes back to like, my God, 10 years that page has probably been up or more. When I had a honest to God shoot terrestrial radio program, not any of this podcast that all of you have, because all of you have these inventions here, so everybody can have a podcast. Everybody needs a podcast. Well, everybody's opinion matters. I want to hear what everybody's got to say, because it's important, by God, just as I am. But this is I had a real honest to God over the air terrestrial radio show that I had every Saturday on WLBG, which sadly has gone the way of the dodo. One of the hosts there passed away, and one of the owner, who was actually one of the hosts, radio hosts, passed, and one of the program directors passed, and then the actual owner decided it was time to retire. So WLBG is gone. No more WLBG, unfortunately and sadly. But anyway, I put this page up as a piece of that show, because we just do a lot of cross promotion, internet wise, whatever. Anyway, that's why Inside Wrestling Radio exists on Facebook. So if you haven't joined me yet, if you're on my Ricky Regal page, RIKKIREGAL, go on over there, and it's all linked up there in my Facebook page. Add Inside Wrestling Radio, and that's where all the updates will be coming for the for this particular program, Regalwood Rasslin. Okay, so here it is. This is what it is. I will be taking comments. I will be taking suggestions. What my plan is to have a guest every week, and actually I've talked to another friend of mine who I'm excited about bringing on. You may not be, but if you follow those Christmas for Kids shows. This is breaking news. He don't even know this yet because I haven't even talked to him about it. We've talked about it some, but he don't know that I'm actually going to be having him on, or we haven't set a date yet. But anyway, Ricky Chastain, he and I were the driving forces behind those Christmas for Kids shows, and those things were events. They were not just shows. They weren't just we're gonna put on the show Friday night, by God, and we're gonna go wrestle. No, it wasn't none of that, brother. It was an event, and if you were there, you know. If you know, one of those, if you know things. And I'm gonna have Chastain on. He and I are actually going to watch some of the old shows, the old events from back in the day, and we're going to be commenting on them. And I'm going to get his take. We're going to give you some behind-the-scenes stuff that you do not know. I don't care if you were there. I don't care if you helped set the thing up. I don't care if you were part of it. You don't know some of these stories. And I can't wait to tell them with him to you because it's 10 years, man. The last show we did was in 2016. Can you believe that? Those of you who were there, again, if you know, you know, man. 2016 has been 10 years. 10 years. Y'all are getting old. I'm not. I'm maintaining my excellence of my youth. As you can, right? See that jawline? See that? See that jawline? Yeah, you gotta knock your block off. But y'all are getting old because it's been 10 years. But I'm hanging on sometimes by a thread. But I think it'll be fun, man, to go back and watch some of those old events and comment on them and tell you some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that I promise you, you are not ready for. I'm going to talk about some old friends, some who are not here anymore, like David Cody. I'm going to be talking about him. Going to be talking about Bryce. Was it Bryce? I'm sorry, Bryce, but your name is. It's been so long since I've talked about this stuff. Boomer Payne and Bryce Anthony. I guess, dude, that's my fault. I'm so old age. Going to be talking about those guys, everybody who promoted those events. Thomas Simpson promoted some of those events. So we're going to talk about all of that stuff. We're going to bring it back, and we're going to show you some of those events, some of the high points, some of the low points, and we're going to talk about it. I think that'll be fun. I think it'll be interesting, at least to me, because I put a lot of heart into that thing, man. Whether you liked it, whether you hated it, whatever it was, I will promise you, any wrestler who is honest will tell you that those were some of the most professionally ran shows that has ever come in this area. And I will not take anything less than that being a fact, because it's the truth. So anyway, long and short of it is we're going to be doing that. That's part of what's coming in this particular program. And other things. We're going to be looking at some local stuff, man. And even though this is episode 0, I do want to address some current things that's happened really quickly. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. The passing of Brett Wolverton, that's a big deal to a lot of people. Brett and I ran in different circles, that we knew each other. In fact, I think he announced my last show in 2016. He was the announcer for that. Always professional, always there to make things happen professionally. I actually asked, if any of you remember the great ER, Eddie Rich, I asked him I wanted him to do my last show because he was involved in some of those early shows. But Eddie couldn't do it, and so and not that we settled for Brett. Don't take what I'm saying wrong. Brett was great, and so we were glad to have him as part of that show. And that show can be found online over on my YouTube channel, which is what is the name of that YouTube channel? We're getting old, man. You know, y'all will get old one day. Yeah, I promise you. Wrestle Radio 860. WRESTLE RADIO 860. Wrestle Radio 860 on YouTube. All of that stuff's up there. And anyway, wanted to talk about, just say, man, 10 bells to Brett, also 10 bells to Shay McGrady. I think we may have been on a couple of cars together, Shay McGrady and I. Hate to hear him that he had passed. Everybody seems to think very highly of him, and hate it when anybody passes, man. That just sucks. And then, of course, the Nick Fury situation. That's tragic, man. That was one of my that was one of my horrors or fears, whatever you want to call it, back in the day, man, of something like that happening in the ring. And that dude's got kids. Nick and I ran paths crossed a few times over the years, and he was always, respectful. He and I never had a bad word again, with each other. So, man, I hope he recovers from that thing. I hadn't gotten any updates on him. Last I heard, they had done surgery, and it was a good surgery, but he still was. I don't know if he had gotten any movement back or not. But God bless, man. Prayers toward to Nick Fury. I hate that happened. I really do, because that's a fear. And before we end episode 0, speaking of that stuff, I'm going to show you this. I'm sure you've seen it. It's not graphic, but it is kind of hard. It's kind of ugly to watch. The guy that had the seizure at OVW. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but the match. The thing that people are upset about is the match continued after the guy got hurt. Which I understand. But I will tell you this, as a matter of fact, back in the day when we were training, we were told if somebody was injured in the ring, just to move to the side, keep going, doing your thing, and let other people worry about that. So I don't know if that's how they're training in OVW. I know Al Snow is the boss up there, so he's old school as anything. So maybe he did teach them guys to, hey, look, if something happens in the ring, you just move on to the side and let it work itself out, either one way or the other. But Al since put out a statement. It is what it is. The guy got hurt. Well, he didn't get hurt. He had a seizure, and I'm going to show you that right now. The video's not the greatest, but you'll get the idea. Let me see if I remember how to move myself out of the way here. Let's do this. That band needs to knock it off, band. There we go. All right, and go. I don't know if we have sound here, do we? Yeah.
Oh my! Oh, down! He's down!
So the crossbody,
Holy!
Spot, obviously.
Tony Evans now, but Balling lands on his feet. Pele kick, and the United States champion goes down.
Talk about chaos!
Absolute pandemonium. Drew Hernandez now. Scoop slam. Man, Balling goes down hard.
Check on Dallas.
Dallas is not having a good night here tonight. Evans moving the carcass of Dallas Edwards out there. Oh! He just caught Hernandez with the back fist. This thing is completely falling apart.
Referee Dallas Edwards is in some trouble here, guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a medical situation obviously taking place in the ring right now. Obviously, things kind of happen. So for the safety of our performers, we're gonna stop down here. And I tell you what, we'll see you Sunday, March.
So yeah, so the announcers go to their announcers' serious business voices, and then take the show ends from there. Which, I mean, look, I honestly don't think the band kick it. That band, they still sharp even after 3 months. Get it banned. Look at it. Look at it. You're not going to find a better band in podcasting business than this one over. Watch this. Hit it. Always just Johnny on the spot. Just bam, right there. Good stuff. Anyway, you're not going to. I don't think that the guys in the ring understood that the referee. He was supposed to take a bump. Clearly a planned spot. And referees oversell anything anyway, so I don't think the guys in the ring really knew. I know the guy kind of roll kicked him over out of the way. The optics aren't really good on that, but again, a planned spot, the referee going down. I don't think they knew the guy was in serious distress. It sucks. It's a bad thing, and it it doesn't look good. But things happen, man. If you're in this game, you got to expect stuff's going to happen, and it's sad. But the update is the kid's doing really well. He's in the hospital recovering, and God bless. And Al Snow, if you want to go read his statement, it's up there on the OVW page for you to peruse at your leisure. So look, that's episode 0. Told you it wasn't going to be much, and I know I teased a little surprise guest, unfortunately, and that's on me. We had some, I don't know what the problem was, but we had some technical issues. We had some, excuse me, we had some, we couldn't hear. We just couldn't. He couldn't hear me. I could hear him, but he couldn't hear me. But anyway, the long and short of it was, we're going to try that again. Episode 1 will be next week, maybe Wednesday, Thursday. Look, I can't give you a schedule of these shows. They'll come when they come. But regrouping and refocusing, the idea is we're going to talk about wrestling. We're going to talk about indie stuff. We're going to talk about things that aren't great, some things that are. And I'm going to show you videos, and we're going to talk about them. And you're welcome. Your comments are welcome. The Facebook comments are wide open. The YouTube comments wide open. Twitch, Rumble, Kick, all of it. Drop me a comment, drop me a like, and please go to, if you haven't subscribed to any of the pages, the main ones are the YouTube channel, Wrestle Radio 860 at YouTube, Wrestle Radio 860 on YouTube. That's the big one. Helps me get the algo out there for anybody who's interested in wrestling talk. Kind of helps me hit their algos as well. This is Smart Mouth Cruiser Lewis. Appreciate you dropping in. I know you couldn't resist me, even though you hate me. I knew you couldn't resist me. But thank you for dropping in, Cruiser. I do appreciate it. Gonna talk about you some too, so you stand by for that. Real quick story about Cruiser. Cruiser's been around longer than anybody. I've never heard, I know he has, but I've never heard Cruiser say a bad thing about anybody other than a certain individual that we'll talk about at some point during the Christmas for Kids reviews, those wrestling events. But to Cruiser's credit, he was put in a bad situation one night, and he stepped up and re-generaled that thing, and I was impressed with him from that. I've always been impressed with him. Cruiser is a strong hand. Always been around forever. Probably will be around. I think Cruiser might be a vampire. Are you a vampire? Can we just go ahead and break that news today, Cruiser? Are you a vampire? Because you've been around longer than any of us. And I don't think you've aged a minute. You're still taking bumps. You're still putting up rings. You got to be what, 400 years old now, something like that. So I'm going to break the news today. Cruiser Lewis is a vampire, and that should be your new gimmick. Put the biker crap away. Let's put the biker stuff away. We'll move away from the biker stuff because let's face it, everybody's a biker now. Like everybody's a wrestler now, everybody's a biker now. So you should be a vampire. You know, you could be Danhausen's dad. Now I would pay money. And by the way, that Danhausen kid, I was hating it when it first happened. When he came, he's actually kind of funny. He's actually kind of funny. Like some of the stuff is I don't know that it's got a long life, but it could be funny. But Cruiser being Danhausen's dad, I like that. Danhausen. See, I'm still, even at my advanced age, and as long as I've been out of this business, I still can come up with the best ideas of any other guy out there. And I don't know why I don't have a job with any of these federations, because I am the creative mind that Vince Russo wishes he still was. Dadhausen. That's your new gimmick. Dadhausen. You're Dadhausen. From now, you're a vampire. That's your gimmick. I have spoken. All right. Thank you, Cruiser, for popping in and giving me some more creativity that just spews out of me like lava from a volcano or something like that. All right. Episode 0 in the books. Thank you. Thank me. I still got it. I feel like I do anyway. Hi, Kim. Thank you for coming in, too. Sister girl, good to see you. See, this is what I like. I like when people get into the chat, and that makes me think that this, that at least somebody's getting it and understands what we're doing here, and I do appreciate y'all. Kim's been around about as long as Cruiser has. Are you a vampire too? Are y'all? Is this like a coven that I didn't realize was a coven back when I first got into wrestling? Because Kim, same way, hadn't changed. Looks like hadn't changed. So yeah, I think you're all a bunch of vampires. All right, Be that as it will, we'll explore that later in the future episodes of Regalwood Rasslin. But episode 0 has come to its conclusion. Thank you all for coming in. Cruiser, I appreciate you. Kim, I appreciate you. And anybody else who was in there lurking, I know you're out there. I know you lurkers are out there. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you join the Inside Wrestling Radio page on Facebook, because that's where all the updates for this particular program will be posted. Thank you all again. I appreciate you. I am Ricky Regal. I'm your host. Don't forget YouTube, Russell Radio 860 on YouTube, Twitch, Regalwood, Facebook, of course, Ricky Regal, Rumble, Regalwood, and Kick, all at Regalwood. If you find the Bulldog, you know you're in the right spot. All right. Appreciate you. Y'all have a better part of your day. Even though you've seen me, it can't get much better. But Ricky Regal loves you, and I will see you down the road. Hello? Hey. Oh,